Call the select board meeting of August 5th to order. It is 6 PM, August 5th, 2024. First thing we're going to do is start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, agenda review. We'll start with Kathy.
Oh, I have good news. We're going to set the tax rate tonight. I'd like to add that under, I guess, new business,
Under new business,
or where
okay.
you want to put it.
Yes.
All business, new business?
Any other necessary business, and I'll tell you why in
Yes,
just a
that
minute.
sounds-
But
No, that sounds good.
yeah. Nicole,
I'm all set.
Earl.
All set.
I would like to move the new town business to right after law enforcement so we can get Lav's
Yeah.
presentation, you know, and
Yeah.
just keep it
Yeah, I
timely
agree.
for him.
No
Okay, so
problem.
we'll do that.
Yep.
Steve, anything?
Nope.
Brian?
No.
Alright. So, under meeting topics, the first item is the minutes. I will entertain a motion to approve.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and second. Is there any discussion? Here are none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Under public comments, I just want to mention a couple things. One is the block party seemed to be quite ahead. There was a good turnout and seemed a lot of positive comments on Facebook about it. The other thing is, last meeting we talked about the road closure because that was still going on. I want to commend the village for the early opening of the bridge and for what they did for maintaining the traffic and so on. And then I would encourage any of our board members, and I'll talk with Kevin, if we have any thoughts on how to improve that, we document that, and by the end, you know, by next meeting, we can forward that to the village and they can put it in their file because this is not the last closure. It may be a few years, but if we have some thoughts, I think it'd be good to put them on paper and send to the village. But anyway, I'll let pass on. I thought they did a very good job of keeping us informed.
Excellent job.
Yep.
Through the process. Anybody else under public comment? We got one on TV. Okay. Moving right on to law enforcement. Swanton Police Department. How we doing this evening?
Oh, not too bad, John. Folks. Huh?
He's got a pretty good
Got a
stack.
good stack.
I got a good stack here.
You might go.
You. Thank you.
Thank you.
Evening. See, we have, start out with the stats from calls for service for July. In total, there's 125 incidents, 15 traffic stops, 12 tickets issued, 9 warnings were issued, 7 arrests in the town. And 7 different individuals accounted for those arrests, and under additional service hours, we had 19.25 hours in the town.
Did those arrests come from the traffic stops or?
I didn't have a chance to show you which ones that came from traffic stops, but they were just incidents also. So
Okay.
it's a combination of both, I'm sure.
Looks like we might have them not listed on the last page. That's
It's like at least two of those are clearly from traffic stops, one being a DUI and the other one being, driving on a suspended license offense.
The others could possibly be when they're stopped, this is what their
It could.
warrant or whatever is for.
Well, these aren't warrants, these are
Right.
offenses that are found during, could be during a stop or to,
So it's a misdemeanor if you have cocaine now?
it depends on how much they have.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah, the state of Vermont designates the difference between felony and misdemeanor by the amount of the
Okay.
substance.
Same thing for LSD then?
Yes, for all the drugs.
Yeah. They don't look at this in aggregate, it's by individual drugs?
Yeah.
These didn't all come from, traffic stops, did they? These arrest charges?
No, not that I could tell.
Yeah.
Like I said, clearly two of them
Yeah.
did. Some of these drug offenses could very well have been from a traffic stop.
So you could have just under the limit of cocaine in one hand and just under the limit of LSD in the other.
Two separate charges.
Yeah, and it's not aggregated and you don't
Correct.
weigh them both together.
No,
Wow.
you can't. You have to,
Yeah,
the statute has them separated, but actually in the statute, different, different substances, so.
can't commingle them, once again.
BB Road traffic study.
Yes, the second package is a traffic study that was done on BB Road, actually it's BB Road and South River during the detour.
Yep.
On the first page of that. You're still going through your stuff.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
was gonna ask, is anybody else, everyone done with the regular report?
Lot to read and
Okay, and we can move on to the BB then.
would it be possible, I mean, this is a good report, there's a lot of stuff in there. Would it be possible that this might be left with Brian earlier in the day, and if we have time to stop by and look at it? It's kinda hard to look this over and see if we have any questions when we just get it handed.
I can certainly pass that along to the chief.
Yeah.
Or that, it just happened that we kinda had to scramble this.
No,
week to get it
I'm
together.
not complaining, I'm just saying, we could ask a lot more questions if we had a chance to read it before the meeting,
Right.
unless it's confidential information.
No, I don't think it is, and I think, well, if it was, we should have it labeled and so on.
Yeah.
I think the goal should probably be to try to get to Brian the day before. We get it on Monday, and
Yeah, that'd be good.
and then
yeah,
we could
yeah.
review it as, be ready.
And he could just, I could just get it by an email
Right.
Right.
and then
Yeah.
send it, so, yeah.
There's pretty good information in here.
All right, on to the BB Road
Onto the BB Road, so.
and South River.
And South River, it's mixed in, I stapled them all together. So on the first page of that, it shows all vehicles that were eastbound on BB Road during the detour, and from the 22nd of July until, actually, let's take that back, from the 16th of July to the 22nd of July, there were 11,875, total number of vehicles, 17,588 vehicles. Of that, 11,000 were above the posted 40-mile-an-hour speed limit. When you break that down, 85% of them were traveling at approximately 48 miles an hour. That's the 85th percentile. As we break it down even further, the reports give you time of day. They also show you can adjust and run the report for vehicles that are 51 miles an hour or at 51 miles an hour plus, or 11 miles an hour over the posted speed limit. And of that 17,000, the total number above that threshold was 704. So, and I didn't have a chance to figure out what that percentage was, but it's fairly small. It's there, but it's a small percentage.
So, from the 16th to the 22nd, we had 17,500 vehicles on that road,
Going one way.
going one way.
So if you count everything that went back westbound, there was approximately 34,000 vehicles on that road.
And the highest speed was 117 miles per hour.
Yes. Most likely a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Now, if they hit the crossing at that speed.
Well,
Well,
because I had to travel that road quite a bit, yeah, I found it pretty difficult to stay under 40 on the BB road, even though I was trying to concentrate on it, because it is gonna.
it's
South River Street was a lot easier to stay at the speed limit, you know, because it was, but BB Road is really tough.
Yeah, it's one of those roads, it's very similar to driving County Road or Daybury, trying
Yeah.
to maintain at 40. They're really, BB probably is a 40-mile-an-hour road, and like I said, 85th percentile feels comfortable at 48. And so it's a tough one. And,
We had, at one time when we were discussing the bridge activity, I thought I heard there were 14,000 something cars or vehicles a day coming across.
11,000 vehicles a day, but you saw a significant reduction in the number of vehicles and tractor-trailer units that came through during that.
Okay, so that, because I thought if I just did the math in my head, this seemed like an awful low number per day. But it would be less because of the road closures.
Well, and that was BB Road.
Yeah.
Now, although we had a lot of people that went County Road to Comstock to Lower Newton to work around that.
All right, now I got it, thank you.
Yeah, but the truck traffic didn't do that.
No.
It just was a total reduction in truck numbers
Truck
during
number.
that period
I
because,
believe you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
that's anecdotally, I can't,
Yeah.
we don't have the exact count.
well, it was difficult for trucks coming
So,
out.
and then from the 12th of July to the 16th of July, we had the speed cart out on South River at the walking bridge, which is a posted 30-mile-an-hour zone. And there were 15,585 vehicles that went over that 3-day period, 3.5-day period, roughly, over the bridge. BB Road was like a 4-day period. It was a little bit longer. So again, that's traffic going one way, and that's catching anything going northbound. So when you double that, that's 31, a little over 31,000 cars a day going both directions.
Right.
And again, the 85th percentile was right around 39 miles an hour, which most of those vehicles are coming out of that 40 zone, the original 40 zone, traveling northbound. And I even found it difficult to get it down to the 30 just because I'm used to the 40 going. Granted, that spot there is 30, but it's still,
Yeah, I had the same issues that, like Larry was saying, you look, you consciously look, say, wait a minute, I'm going a lot faster than I think I am right now.
right.
Yeah.
Well, I only bring that up because the other thing that came in our packet is, and it was in the email, was about what is required to have a legal speed limit.
Right. Yeah, we'll get into that after, and,
Yeah.
because and I think we have the South River study that was done previous, so we ought to be able to get that data, which isn't,
Yeah.
doesn't have all this traffic, but it's still, that's the one we would use,
Yeah.
because that's our more normal, so we'll talk about that in a little bit.
And again,
79 miles an hour though, that's just,
It's too
That's
fast.
crazy.
Well, again, yeah,
And probably a motorcycle.
yeah, it could be. Um, Total out of the 15,000 vehicles, 933 of those were traveled at 41 plus miles an hour. So again, not a,
60%,
it's less than that, Steve.
9,000?
No, 931.
Oh, nine, I'm sorry, I thought you had 9,000.
No,
Okay, yeah.
931.
Okay, yeah.
So it's like, it's 10, less than 10%.
Good.
Well, the interesting thing I see on both of these charts is the time of day doesn't seem to make a big difference in who's driving over, how many, what the percentage of people
Well,
driving over.
it's those.
It seems to be
those spikes-
consistent.
Well, those spikes are when you have the highest volume
Yeah.
and you have your commuter
Yeah,
traffic.
I know, but the ones that are going above the speed limit seem to be at about the same percentage almost on both of the studies, so
Right.
not a big difference there. It seems like most of the time, people were driving over the speed limit at least 5, 8 miles.
Right.
Yeah. And probably at that rate, you wouldn't be giving them a ticket anyways.
Just be giving them a warning, yeah, having a conversation.
All right, any, questions for Officer Gilbert?
Good report.
All right,
Good report.
thank you. And,
Thank you.
one thing, has been mentioned to me, and you can take it back to the chief, and I think I'm gonna chat with him too about it, is Route 105. Do we do much patrolling out there for,
Do a fair amount of it, especially now that it's been all repaved. I think they finally finished it.
all right,
I guess they got one more coat maybe, no, they have one more coat to
the
go
top,
on.
the top maybe?
Top
but-
coat to go on it. And I do know there's, through the Governor's Highway Safety Program, there's, details that have been set up, dates set to get out there and not just through Swanton, but through the whole Richford to St. Albans corridor. And, unfortunately, we've got a couple of them where we haven't had any officers had time to show up or sign up for it just because their schedules and stuff, work schedules and stuff, but their own departments. But we were working on it from that angle also.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank you, Norm.
So we move new business up, so Lions, if you could, come on up and join us. What's Laz doing this evening?
Not too bad, and you?
Doing very well, thank you.
So I got a little handout, but I'm gonna take you through it. Nothing too exciting, but
Insulated attics isn't really the most
No.
exciting topic, but something that needs
you
to
don't
be
wanna,
done.
you don't wanna grab your handles because
Thank you.
So, we'll start with the first page. So, this is really an attic plan, and, the one,
Do I have yours?
no,
This one's not long.
I got the same thing,
Alright,
has my hand scratches on it. Anyways, the one on the left is the original library, the one on the right is the addition plus the connector. Some of the work that's in the estimate, well, let me step back. We determined that we could insulate the underside of the rafters and the underside of the roof sheathing. On the original building, it's tongue and groove, so the boards interlock. So we're not concerned about spray foam squeezing in the boards and going underneath the slate. Over at the addition and connector, it's all plywood, so we're not concerned there. So our intent, or what we're gonna go through with this proposal that I'm gonna show you is, we're insulating the underside of the rafters, and we're coming down the walls, and we're coming down to the eaves. Now, in order to get to these eaves, here, it's all open framing. But here, there's boards, so we've gotta take about 3 feet of boards out along the perimeter, so we can get down between, I'm not gonna draw this very well here, it's to me. But we wanna make sure we get down into here and the top of the wall to seal that off. So we have to take the perimeter boards off to get in there and get the spray gun in there.
The floorboard essentially? Yeah.
Essentially the floorboards.
Yeah.
So that's what
Well,
this
you
is
don't-
showing.
You don't want any outside air going in the attic then.
Exactly, exactly. The other piece that we're also doing, when I first came before you, I mentioned that the top of the elevator shaft wasn't fire rated like it's supposed to. So I have costs in there to fix that. The other piece, and we're gonna insulate to R38, and we're gonna so we're gonna bring the insulation down and around. So if this is the roof, and these are your existing rafters, we're wrapping all that with insulation. And then on top of that, because spray foam's not allowed to be exposed, it's gonna have a layer of intumescent paint applied to it, which acts as a fire barrier. In order to do this, if you go to your next page, or you can look right here, there's some ductwork that's shown in purple or pink, whatever that color is, that we need to remove so we can get in, or the contractor can get in and behind to actually install the insulation, to set staging, because right now they're in the way. And I took, it's really hard to show, but I've included 2 pictures here. It's basically this ductwork that's here, the ductwork that's going behind here, this ductwork, because you just can't get in there.
Yeah, I've looked in there, I know what you're saying, I seen the pipes, it's.
Yep. So, I have money to remove that ductwork, put new ductwork back. If we could reuse the existing, that would be great, but usually it doesn't do well when it gets torn out.
When I looked at that, there was an issue with insulation on that ductwork.
That issue's gonna go away because we're insulating and making the attic warm.
Okay,
So it doesn't matter whether there's insulation on ductwork or not.
what about from an efficiency standpoint?
It's gonna be efficient because it's in warm space.
Okay.
It's not gonna be cold anymore. We might actually end up also dumping a little air. We may just put a diffuser on one of the supply ducts and dump a little air into that attic just to get some movement.
Do you think you'd want some kind of circulation?
Yeah, we may do a return too, I don't know yet, but right now, we might do that. So, I've got an estimate, what I did is.
What about around the heat room, where all the furnaces are upstairs?
It's all gonna be in warm space, so it doesn't matter. So, what we're doing. So here's that room with the furnaces, right?
Yep,
And it's been insulated here.
yeah, I know how it is.
Yeah,
I know
it's been
exactly.
insulated here to keep that warm. Since we're doing this with our thermal barrier,
Yeah,
this is all now conditioned space.
so there isn't much of a need to even have them walls or any of that stuff there anymore.
Nope. Nope.
Yeah,
Nope. So,
that's probably the best we'll ever be able to afford to do, to get that system to be way more efficient than it is
efficient,
now.
absolutely.
Yeah,
So, we have, I brought an insulating contractor to the library to look at it. I've done some work with him. I've asked him to give me some numbers. And then I'm also coming up, Brian, you don't know this yet, I'm coming up next Thursday with an insulating contractor who's doing installation work at BFA for me. And I'm gonna get a price from him as well to see what it's gonna cost.
Does that include any carpenter type work? No,
You're
separate.
jumping the gun.
Okay.
You're jumping the gun. So if you go to the last page, you'll see I did a list of scope of work by items. The first item is that the existing windows in the original library are not weather stripped or anything. So what I propose is that we fix the upper sash in place, seal it, and then weather strip the bottom. And I'm carrying about $7,500 for that. The other piece I'm carrying in item 2 is to remove the existing fiberglass batt insulation in the attic, in the connector in the new addition. Now, depending on how messy it gets with the spray foam, you could leave it in, but to me, it would be better just clean it all out. It's all clean, you don't have to worry about it, and it's done. Item number 3 is the actual closed cell spray foam that we would put up. It would give us about an R38, and that also includes intumescent paint. That's about $75,000. Removing the floorboards that I talked about along the perimeter for about 3 feet, I've carried about $2,300. To fire rate the top of the elevator shaft, which is item 5, I've carried $4,300. And then item 6 is to remove the horizontal ductwork that's in the way, do the insulation work, and then put new ductwork back. And I've carried $22,300. That gives us a total direct work of $136,400. If you were to put this out to bid, I assume you'd want to carry bonds and insurance, which I've included. I've included general requirements and general conditions for the GC. I've included an overhead and profit. And then I've included a contingency. This contingency is right now my estimate contingency because it was based not on real drawings that we have done, but scale drawings, a contractor visiting, that's what it was based on. So I'm carrying some extra money just because of, where this estimate is. You, as owners, should also have your own owner's contingency, just in case something gets found. We're not ripping apart anything, so it should be fairly surprise-free, for lack of a better term, because we can see everything, but
It's
you
an
should
old-
always
it's an
set.
old building.
That's right. You should always set aside some money just to be safe.
Lions, what do you suggest as an owner's contingency? 5% of the total cost? or-
Maybe 5, 7, 8, something like that, Depending on how we move forward, this contingency for me will come down, because the more developed our drawings get, the less unknowns there are. So when you include all that, you've got an estimate of about $2,665. You're gonna need a Vermont Department of Fire Safety building permit, which is about $1,600. I assume you have a local permit you may have to pay for with you guys, or I don't know.
No, it's interior.
Okay.
It's
Huh?
It's interior. so-
Perfect. So I didn't include that. So
Excuse
we're
me,
around.
just when we say our contingency at 5 to 7%, of what number? Of the 136,400?
Yeah, I think that would be safe.
Using that number?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So when I met with Joel and Brian earlier, I asked them, would you bid this out? Could you negotiate with contractors and not bid it out? Because they're, general conditions, bonds, overhead and profit, that we're talking, it's almost $60,000. That's a lot of money. And if you could negotiate it, you could probably save some money. But someone's gonna have to manage it. And we talked that we could probably manage it for you, but we're talking 3 subs. We're talking an insulating sub, we're talking a carpenter to cut some holes in the floor and some other stuff, and we're talking a mechanical guy to come and do the ductwork. So it's really only 3 subs.
You need a little electrical work too before you.
Might
get
need
down
some
there.
electrical work, who knows, depending on what they find. Again, it's, I don't know what your rules are for bidding and all that stuff. But this gives you an idea of what the costs are gonna be. I will update this once I have my meeting with the other insulating sub and see what he gives us for a number. The other numbers are by my estimator. I didn't feel comfortable having my estimator do the insulation number just because, unless, you know, I can send him photographs, but you really have to see it. And you really have to, and one concern that I mentioned when I met with Joel and Brian was that we're gonna have to do some drawings. And if you can negotiate it, you could save some of the cost of us doing drawings. Because we can negotiate it, bring subs up here and look at it and give you a number, then you don't have to pay me to do drawings. Not that I'm trying to not do fees, but. So it really all depends on what you wanna do for a process.
Yeah, and good time for the back and forth.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and.
Anytime is a good time.
Yeah, so I think doing drawings and stuff is above and beyond what this really is, because it's reasonably straightforward. Yes, it's in an old building, so there's gonna be a couple unknowns, so there may be a minor change order or two.
Yep.
Yeah.
But taking ductwork down that's already there, any good contractor is gonna know how to do that and build some ductwork and put it back.
And we don't have to,
Cutting the boards 3 feet
Yeah.
is not rocket science, and then the insulation, so it's really having someone watch over it
Yeah.
and coordinate between the 3, but
Yeah.
to go out and draw and do plans and specs for
It's
this,
not worth it.
I
It's not- it's a waste
I
of
think
money.
it's above and beyond what needs to be done, but that's just my opinion after, you know, we talked about what needs to be worked. And then the other thing that we talked about, because you have to undo the ductwork, we really can't do it until springtime, right after the heating season before, right after. The goal would be to get in there right after heating season and get this fixed, I think. And that was part of what
Yeah.
we talked about as well.
No, I agree with you, Joe. I'd rather invest the money in a project manager than in drawings. You know, someone to oversee to make sure everything's coordinated and
and
done.
you really don't,
Yeah, that's where a better investment.
and if you can hire, you don't need me to do drawings. It's a waste of my time, it's a waste of your money. It's
Yeah.
not necessary. If I,
They'll look nice on the shelf somewhere, but they aren't gonna
no.
contribute to the project.
Yeah, and if the installation sub is willing to give me a hard number, then it's not necessary, you know,
Yeah.
it just isn't. You have better ways to spend your money, so, and I don't wanna waste your money just for the sake, so I can do a couple drawings, I'm busy enough as it is.
So that brings that 200,000 down some then.
It'll bring it down some,
Yeah.
it'll bring it down some. You're still gonna have, we're gonna, you know, we'll still require insurance and all that
Yeah.
stuff on all 3. But it brings it down some. So that's where we are. I'll give you an update once I find out what this other sub says and how much he thinks it's gonna cost. And my hope is he'll be in the ballpark. But we'll see, but this is what we're talking about. It's actually less than I thought it was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be more when I first went up there and visited with you
Yeah, I
and
know,
took a
yeah.
look and I said, oh my God. But
When you have that conversation with the next
Yep,
sub and get
yep.
a number, will you be able to come back to us with what you think might be the level of effort for you?
yeah, I
To-
will.
to-
I
to
haven't
do
done
this.
that yet because I was waiting to see
See
what
which
you
way,
guys decide.
which way we might
Yeah.
wanna go.
Yeah. Yeah.
We do have some, free, if we use the ARPA money or whatever we call it now,
Special funds.
that's at our discretion.
Right.
So, you know, we could go that route just in order to make sure, because this has been dragging on for a few years. And it's caused some other issues in the basement and stuff. You know, make sure we get this done next year.
Yeah,
You know,
I think it'd be, I
minimum,
think it'd be
yeah.
a good use of that money.
Yeah,
You
it
know,
would,
and-
very
Yeah.
good use
And,
of that money.
and get that fixed right
Yeah.
finally, and
Finally.
and all sections would be insulated the same, right, after
Right.
this? Yeah.
Yeah.
well, your cap will be insulated.
Right, yes, yes,
Yeah,
the
your
the
cap will be
Yeah, I mean,
insulated.
it's
And-
gonna,
Where the problem is right
it's
now.
gonna lengthen the life of the building considerably.
Yep.
And one thing in discussion too is item one, we don't need to wait till next spring.
No.
To me, item one is something we should look at, get
Yeah.
it done before winter.
Yep.
And the
Oh,
money
yeah.
we save,
Yep.
you know, by getting item one done, that's something we can take on and get out a request, you know, RFP or
Yeah.
something and get that,
Yeah,
get
it's
that
really,
rolling.
it's really
It's basic
simple.
stuff.
It's not, you know,
Yeah.
you lug the upper sash in place, you
Yeah.
caulk it and seal it, get some, and not the plastic weather stripping, get, you know, the metal inner weather stripping that interlocks, so it's really done right, you know, and I can write a quick little, or give you cut sheets on the material.
That would be, yeah,
Yeah.
And that way, you know, it's just, cause the plastic stuff doesn't last, it breaks, it
Right.
falls off, and especially if it's just adhered, and you wanna really fasten it.
Comes from China.
Because we're gonna make that building more efficient, are there any incentives out there that we might look at?
I think we might be, I haven't talked to Vermont Gas yet, but I think Vermont Gas, they pay for half the blower door test, right? Vermont Gas?
Yeah.
They paid, so we've already talked to Vermont Gas. They covered, we did a blower door, you know what a blower door test?
Yeah.
So we did a blower door test, they offered to pay half of that. So, I'm pretty sure he's gonna give us some money for that. It depends on what it is and how good the after numbers are. If the after numbers come in really good in terms of leakage and all that, you get more money. If they don't come in as good, you get less. But yeah, I think we'll get some money. I don't know how much. I will tell you at BFA, we're getting back close to $26,000, so. You won't, I don't think you'll get that high, cause BFA was more, but if you get $10,000, it's better than nothing.
Every little bit can go towards
How about
another
efficiency
project.
Vermont lies, are they, is this?
No,
this
it's,
is a light bulb
the
issue?
choice is, if you were heating with other than gas, it would be efficiency
Oh,
Vermont.
okay.
Cause you're heating with gas, it's Vermont gas.
Okay,
And efficiency Vermont would give you some money if you were doing lights, but for this stuff,
But
it's Vermont gases
okay.
piece.
I have a question. Okay, with item number one, we could do that
You
anytime.
can do that
Yeah.
anytime.
And what about item five? Can that be done anytime? The elevator, or should we wait? on that one?
Yeah, it can, that one can be done anytime, you know, it just, whoever you hire, I would like to at least review and make sure they do it right,
Oh,
so that it's, but yeah, that one can be done anytime. That's not an issue, that
Just a
can be
thought.
done. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And there might be some fire caulking we wanna do at the floor. I didn't include it here, but it's not a lot of money at the, I believe at the second floor. Is it at the, yeah, at the second floor, there's a joint where the sheetrock is short of the elevator shaft. Under, if you look above the ceiling, there's a gap, and we should fire caulk that, just to make that, but it's not a big deal. And that could be done at the same time as that.
Nicole, any thoughts, questions?
No, this helps a lot, I think, actually.
Anything else, Earl? We'll get some revised numbers and then, I think we
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
move ahead. and-
Yeah, 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 we wanna keep this moving, and, my other comment would be that we should let the library people know that, this is in the works, communicate, keep that communication going.
Yep.
Something that really needs to be done.
Yeah, so I would say we probably would have those numbers from you for a couple weeks then, because they're
I
coming in
think so.
Thursday.
He's coming in Thursday and he's pretty good, so I would hope, are you meeting in a couple weeks?
Yeah, we'll be
What date are
meeting,
you meeting?
2 weeks, 20th,
20th? Is that a?
Tuesday, yeah. Normally we're on Tuesdays, but
Yeah.
because of a national night out, we moved today's meeting.
I'll tell him I need it for that meeting, so I will have those and I can get them to him, see what he says, and then,
Ballpark of what you think your services
Yeah.
would be.
and it will be a ballpark, because it's hard to guess how
Yeah.
much management
Get
you
us in
have
that
to do,
ballpark
but
and we
I'll,
can-
yeah, and I'll do it, you know, I'd be willing to
Yeah.
do it hourly, and that way if I don't need it all, I don't spend it all, so.
Okay, you know, if we reach the maximum that we've agreed upon, then, we can just extend that amount if we have
Yeah,
to, because we
yeah.
need to get this done right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And we're, again, we'd be saving over doing the full, bids and.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
Yeah. And,
that'd be great.
And then, when that work is done, we'll do a blower door test to
And
see
go
how
after.
well it was done.
Yeah,
And then we'll apply to Vermont Gas for
whatever.
whatever they do to give us.
Well, we could max out at 26,000 if it's really good.
I'm trying to think what the installation work cost us at BFA, so we don't know. I think it was more than 75,000, but, I mean, it's still a good chunk.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, we'll see.
Steve?
No, it was very helpful. Good
Yeah.
job.
Very
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Not a problem, thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
Next item, Highway Department, discussion of change of speed limit on South River Street. What I asked Brian to do, and he included it in the package, was, look into what the state requires, cause
Are
I'd
we
heard.
gonna do the town health officer report, or we'll come back
Oh,
to that?
yeah, I just blew right over that, thank you.
Yeah, there's a,
Yeah, so
That'll be helpful.
we'll do the town health officer first and we'll jump into the other. Brian has been very busy in keeping me informed as I got my little certificate from the state just before I headed out, that I am now the health officer. Go ahead, Brian.
well, it's probably more detail there than needed, but the failed sewer line on Platt Street, I've been still working on that.
Whereabouts is that on Platt Street?
It's almost to Liberty Street. There's a very, very narrow lot on the right-hand side.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's a mobile home that sits in there, and that's the mobile homes.
Okay.
And any case, the owner of the mobile home has been endeavoring, trying to come to a suitable arrangement, and he has found it. The only thing will be scheduling, but we hope that it'll be done by the mid-September. I notified the neighbor, Mr. Thompson, today by email, but we'll continue to monitor it. But certainly the homeowner obviously wants to get this fixed as much as
Sure,
anybody.
sure.
But due to schedules and whatnot, is looking at mid-September. The Bro Park, that was a case of some garbage that was outside of a mobile home. So I contacted the landlord, and he was serving them 20-day notice to vacate. And I haven't had a chance to go up and check that yet to see what the situation is. But also we received an anonymous complaint, the town clerk did, from somebody about the home that there was the structure fire at 12 Church Road a couple of months ago, and they said there was an odor coming from the debris that's still there on site. Had a little problem getting in touch with the owners of the property. If anybody is not aware, phone books are absolutely worthless now.
Where are they staying, Brian?
I'm not sure.
Well, they lost everything.
They
Everything.
absolutely lost everything. But she called me, wanted to know about, because Amy was on vacation, and she wanted to know about permits, because they're gonna be rebuilding or replacing. And so we talked, but they haven't cleaned it up yet. There is a dumpster there, but they've been working with their insurance company trying to get
Yeah, that's too bad.
new one, but she's aware that it's definitely gonna get cleaned out, and
Yeah.
they're gonna do it, so that's being worked on. 215B St. Albans Road, that's an ongoing issue, it's still ongoing. It's the occupant of that apartment is under an eviction notice, so it's becoming a little bit.
I haven't seen the writing on the wall.
And then just on the 26th of July, I had a walk-in from two residents of 16 Church Street concerning open burning issues at 18 Church Street, which is right there and across the street. And they had showed photos of this open burning. Now, they came to the health officer because some people, their neighbors at 16 Church Street, are elderly. They have breathing issues, and it was really, the smoke was very much. And I saw the pictures, and it's not just a little fire. This was a big fire. So
Is it the residents or of that big building here, or?
it's the building in the back. There,
Okay,
the old
Benny
shoe
Hill
shop.
place?
Yeah. And so they, so we've got going. I contacted the fire chief about the burning, and then he stopped in my office and we discussed it. I said, well, there is a health complaint here because it's creating a nuisance, and plus they were concerned that sparks would fly and set the building, their building at 16 Church Street on fire. So again, we had to attempt to try to get contact with the owner of the building. And we found the name of the owner of the building. It's an LLC, but we found the principals of the LLC. They lived in Fairfax, and so we were able, through the village offices and water and sewer there, they had a phone number, so we made contact, left messages. Both the fire chief left a message, and I left a message. And then the landlord called me back after he spoke to the fire chief, and he says, well, fire chief's ordered the tenant that there will be no more burning there, and he said, I'm delivering that message, there will not be any more burning.
Who's the owner?
It's Fitzgerald from Fairfax. It's he and his wife and I believe brother-in-law that own it, the LLC, and very, very cooperative. And as far as I know, there's been no, this DEC got involved. The owner of 16 Church Street's dead.
Yeah.
He got DEC involved, but I talked with DEC and they just as soon have let us handle it. Now, if there was going to, I still monitor fire calls, and I said if there was a fire call down there, that first of all, if they see it burning, somebody call the fire department, and then I'll go down when everything's cool. I'll go take what pieces of what was burning, and, because that basically is what DEC would do. But they prefer to have it handled locally because we're here,
Yeah.
and they don't have to truck up. So that's for now. That's what you got.
Well, again, appreciate you doing the major legwork on this and keeping me informed and keeping us informed, Brian.
Fortunately, still no
applicant.
no applicants, but I've got an idea, and we're gonna see what if I can make contact with somebody this week.
All right,
Try to
thank you.
do some-
Any other questions for Brian or I on health officer?
Good job.
Thank you.
All right, so let me get my sheet. Here we go. Speed limit on South River Street. So originally was told we had to go to some special board and everything, but that's
No,
the state roads.
That's the state.
Right, no, that's why I wanted you to take a
Right.
look, and Brian found the information, and we do have the ability to set the speed. We're supposed to do a study
Right.
and then take a look, and then it says to set at the 85th, rounded to the nearest 5 miles, unless there are other factors. So that's, to me, it allows us a little bit of wiggle room, because this whole 85th thing to me is a little crazy. Okay, so everybody's speeding, now we can just set things to the 85th. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but,
And
so that, what we need to do is there, so the real question is, we lowered that to 30, we didn't do it with a formal speed study, even though one was done last year. We can get that and take a look at it and decide what we wanna do as a board with South River Street. So I'll leave it at that and open it up to any comments, discussion anybody has regarding that.
Do you know what the 85th percentile was last time it was done?
I do not,
I don't know.
so that's why I asked Brian to, you got it right there?
This is in June.
June.
Well, Yeah, you figured it out.
25 miles an hour, no. All right.
Oh, there's a chart.
Says it right
There's
there.
the chart, but right there, 85th.
Yeah, that's cool.
I wanna make sure I got the right road. South River Street at BB, SB, all vehicles. 85th is 46.
And that's right there.
That's there, let's
BB
see.
and South River where it attaches to county.
Yeah.
It wasn't back in towards the village.
I thought
Right.
they'd put one near the museum at one time.
The only one near the museum is the one we're looking
Just
at
re-
right
Just
now,
recently,
yeah.
the data I provided now. And then we go to South River, oh, that's 51 plus miles an hour, so that data isn't it? So, and this is just me looking at this quickly, is saying 46
On South River.
on South River. And
But
to
that's
me-
down the other end.
Right,
But it's saying, the same thing with this data here, it's still saying 46.
which is, we had it 40,
And this one was
40,
taken at
yeah.
the railroad.
From the-
junction,
Right.
Yep.
From just after after the bridge depot.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
What are we thinking about for a speed limit down there?
What was it before,
It was-
35?
it was 30 and then it changed to
goes
40.
But did we lower it to 30 during the bridge construction?
Yes,
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, we
What
voted
was it before, 35?
No, 40.
40,
Oh, it was 40.
yes.
Well, the numbers indicate, unfortunately, that's what it should be.
Yeah, I mean, if you go just by that, really, we should bring it up to 45, and that's not what we, no, and that's, no, we don't
I
want.
think that's way too fast.
Well,
for
I
my
definitely
opinion.
don't want that, I'm just saying, if
Yeah.
I follow just this guidance, I mean, the thing I like, it says such factors include roadway geometry such as curves or limited sight distance, parking or pedestrian activity, or high occurrence of crashes related to excess speed, but we don't have the high occurrence of crashes, you know, we do have pedestrians on that road with very little shoulder and stuff, and,
Certainly are some curves and some blind spots for residents trying to pull out onto that road.
Have the residents requested that we do this?
No.
Okay.
No.
But they did mention during the bridge closure, they were concerned about speed.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
So-
yeah, sure.
at this stage, I guess I'm comfortable returning the signs back the way they were,
At 40?
at the 40, and, if we do get a request, then we consider it, but we did not have a lot of accidents on that road in the last few years that I'm aware of. We got the data there to show the 46,
Did we run this by the
85th
chief?
percentile.
Did we run this by the chief of police just for his input, or?
No.
We have not.
I'm just curious.
And we could, and then decide, you know, we could bring this up at the next meeting if we want.
No, I'm just curious to see if he had any input. I mean,
Well,
they
that's,
certainly have their hand on the pulse here.
The only input I got from the village was we changed it and we didn't really follow the rules, or,
Right.
although we were pretty close, we made a
Yeah.
decision based on what was going on with the bridge closure to change the speed, so I think we were okay, but he said, all we're gonna do is give people warnings because we don't think it'll hold up, and that was the only thing.
yeah, that's,
Back then.
that's the other consideration we gotta take here, because the data that we were shown here tonight, and if that doesn't change, unless we do another study, we won't know. See it change anyways, but, that data, I don't know if it would, if we left the speed limit at 30, if it would stand up. I don't think it would.
Yeah, I think what we'd have to do is write a decision that we did based on geometry and all that, but I think we've got the data
Yeah.
to show those numbers, and then we don't have the accident data to say
Yeah.
otherwise. Like I say, I'm pretty comfortable returning it, but.
The only possible compromise would be 35, but then we gotta get new signs.
Yeah. So you go from 30 to 35, so, you know. But I will say, this weekend I drove it deliberately a lot, just to see, now I didn't have anybody with me, but I found it, you know, going 38 to 40 on it, and it was, you know, should be going 30. It's hard to keep it at 30 through there,
Yes.
especially the type of vehicle that you're driving makes a big difference
Yeah,
too. So.
35 might not be a bad compromise, because that would give that would give them to 45 if they're at, 41 or something, that they're probably not gonna get a ticket, just a warning at the most, or not even bothered with, but that seems like a pretty good compromise. At least it gets people thinking a little less. If it was 40 or 45, then they might be going 55,
No,
But we want to be careful, we're not trying to find a solution to a problem that really doesn't exist. I mean, it seems like it's pretty well used. 40 is gonna be 45, we know that. But there really hasn't been a problem. There isn't a problem, and maybe we just ought to monitor this going forward and bring it back to 40 and just keep an eye on it.
those are the two options.
Yeah.
Anyone wanna make a motion?
We'll let you do it, Nicole.
That we return it to 40, is that what we're?
Yep.
I'll make a motion to return the speed limit on South River Road to 40.
Do I hear a second? Steve seconded. Any other discussion? Hearing none? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? So moved. All right. So now we're on to Old Town Business. We don't have anything listed there. Under New Town Business, we already took care of Mr. Skangus. Community and Economic Development, I think Earl was gonna maybe give us an update.
Yes, I did contact, or got in contact with all the major land owners in the area. Consensus was that, this would certainly be a very positive addition to that area. And they'd essentially, they'd like to see something like that in the future that feels the best because of the location of that area. And what it's zoned for, it's planned for growth, so, if that growth is ever gonna be obtained, obviously you're gonna have to have those kind of services available. So, they're certainly, in favor of seeing something like this happen in the future. If the town was gonna continue to pursue the effort, they think that's, a very wise thing to do.
When you say pursue the effort, what do you mean?
Well, if we wanna see, realistically what's available, and then from there, is it the possibility that there might be funding coming from different places? With the Armory coming in here, does give us a little bit of leverage. I'm sure they really do need sewer, not just water. 'Cause they could,
But the landowners are all, who were they?
Mark St. Pierre, the Hubbards, the Montagues, and Mr. Cummins. Both the four major landowners.
Okay. So would they like to see us take the lead to look for something, or would they like to work with us?
Well, basically, they're not in a position to really, they're not developers, okay? And that's one of the issues, and basically, I don't know if they could come up with a way of doing it.
And we're not developers.
No, we're not developers either. We'd have to find, someone to come into play here if you got into bringing, the actual work started. I'm just talking about having a plan to do it, and where would the funding come from to do it?
Yeah. There are developers out there.
And I'm not talking about bringing onto their sites or their personal development. I'm just talking about bringing it to the area so it's available. And they have the option to hook to it.
Yeah. There are developers out there that
Right.
can do this with a wink. This would not be a big project to them.
Yeah.
And they know how to do it, and they know where to go to get the money. And they're all over the state. We've got some pretty sophisticated folks up there. And they would pay for it. And it would all be factored into the price of the lots, and, as it normally would be.
So I guess the question is, do we continue to pursue it, or we just let it happen by itself?
Anybody wanna answer that one?
Well, let me ask you this, what are the pros and cons? At some point, if it's economically feasible, you'll find a developer or a series of developers that are gonna move forward and make this happen, if it's economically feasible. So do we let nature take its course and be party to maybe the permitting, maybe we would get party status, I'm not sure. And let's see how it moves forward. These landowners are pretty sophisticated out there, they probably know how to get it done too. They're all accomplished in this field. So I think you've done a good job and you've contacted them, and let's just see where it goes at this point. That's my feeling.
One of my questions is, what is FCIDC's role in helping us try to make something happen there?
Well, they're more involved in industrial development, as you know. This could, I guess, be construed as the underpinnings of industrial development, because we need housing, so maybe they'd have a role. I wonder if they would be brought to the table if there was gonna be development out there because of regional planning. I mean, I'm
just curious in the sense that some of that could possibly be light industrial, because we're gonna have garage there, a state garage, and, you know, possibly an armory, and some other light industrial up there would not necessarily be a bad thing, and then some housing in there, but they, to me, are a little more, have some expertise in how
oh,
to
yes.
develop an area and what's involved, and whether we really should be spending much of our time doing it, because we don't have that expertise, but what is their take on trying to make something
I
happen
think
there?
it's good to talk with them. They certainly have the relationship with the regional planning and with the state that they could bring into this whole discussion, so hopefully they'd be at the table.
Yeah, to me, they'd be one to have come
Sure.
to talk specifically regarding that and see what they say, and I don't know if they have recently in the past been here to talk about that or not, or.
There's been discussions.
Didn't we have them try to contact the landowners before, Earl?
Well, that's possible.
Yeah, well,
You know, the only thing I can say about that is there seemed to be something lost in the communication between all the parties for some reason. And it doesn't really make any difference at this point. It's, you know, it's time to either, you know, to make some kind of decision. You know, if you think that, I feel that if we're gonna do this through the corporation, then we gotta probably make a specific proposal to them for what we'd like to see. You know, them look into.
I mean, what we'd like to, you say them, you're talking about the landowners?
No, I'm talking about the corporation, you know.
Oh,
I mean,
FCIDC?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right.
you know, because I don't think they're gonna go ahead and start doing something in a town before they even come here and say this is what we'd like to do. Now, I know they're open to what the town would probably like to do, whether they could do anything or not, that'd be another question, but, you know, maybe an official proposal was, you know, is worth some effort.
Well, Tim's pretty skilled. I mean, he certainly would be a guy to give us some advice, so.
did the property owners have any ideas of what they would like to see there for development? I mean, Mr. Cummings would be housing.
Yeah.
likely.
Not necessarily in detail, they talk more, most of the property owners, because of the way the area is sown, what could be done there. A lot of that stuff is gonna be difficult to be done there without, you know,
Yeah.
municipal services, so, you know, it's, of course, it would, you know, I mean, they're gonna benefit from it in the long run, but then again, it's not their fault they own the land, you know?
Right.
So, but I mean, you gotta look at what the long-term benefit might be to the community and, you know, what for future growth area. In Swanton, there isn't a lot of land left. Very little.
No, I mean, we're strangled between
Yeah.
the land trust and our own natural boundaries. We are strangled.
Yeah,
We have no place to go.
yeah.
They strangle our future.
Well,
So do you want to have a chance to bring Tim in and chat with him, or?
To me, it's a very specific question that, and no water's there, so the real question is,
Yeah.
is there a way, is there a benefit? And how would it get done to get the sewer up there? And as you say, it really should be a developer to do that. And the municipality, we're in no position financially to
Do it,
do
no.
that, because we don't even know when and if the land's gonna be sold or what's gonna happen up there.
And maybe we're kind of putting the cart before the horse, or whatever, the chicken and the egg thing. I mean, we should see if St. Albans City is open to, you know, an allocation. You know, and get some kind of rough idea, and I don't know how we go about doing that. Maybe this is where Tim might come into play, is, you know, is there somebody out there that can say, you know, if you look at this kind of development, you know, what's just a ballpark number?
Well, the city council would have a role in that.
Yes, they
And
would.
Tim's the mayor.
Yep, and Tim's the mayor too, so
Yeah.
you're killing two birds with
Probably
one
the
stone.
dialogue would be good to get it started, just to see if they would sell us an allocation.
Because if they're not interested in doing it, or if the allocation is limited, then we know what we're dealing with anyways, you
Then we
know?
gotta go to on-site.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
I mean, that's the one, we got the email back, right, that talked a little
Yeah.
bit about it?
Yeah, yeah, that was a while back. So maybe having, that might be the first, that should be the first discussion, really.
Well, we got one
It was
last,
about a month ago.
yeah, it was a
Yeah.
month ago.
That Dominic
Okay.
responded to me about.
And he had two possible options.
Yeah,
One
yeah.
is to request that the sewer line be extended with an allocation. The select board and the council might agree to that. That's where he talked about possibly getting into the whole agreement with the city and the town, getting on that. But
Yeah.
I don't think that's anywhere we wanna go.
I think the first option is to look at.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
said, I think it would depend on how large the allocation you're talking about and what the buy-in provisions are. The north end of the system bought an allegation of 100,000 gallons and charged that back to the property owners in a special assessment district.
So basically, what that letter is saying is that they do sell it.
That there's a possibility to
Yeah.
get an allotment, yes.
It would be how much, and the people that would use it would have to probably pay for it, but at least it would be available. There would be a town paying for it.
Yeah, they might be able to reserve it.
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
for a certain period of time anyway, maybe not forever if it don't get used.
So you wanna invite him to the next meeting, or?
I know.
Yeah,
Okay.
but we should give him, it's pretty much a discussion of providing sanitary sewer in that area.
Yeah, and if he has any ideas of what would be a realistic number, you know,
Okay?
and then,
I mean, if we're inviting him too, it'd be nice to just get a general update on what projects he's working
What
on here
else?
in Swanton.
Right.
He's come several years
Yeah.
since I've been on the board, and I don't think we've seen him this year.
He's been pretty useful. We've been working on something that's still quite confidential, but we're trying to bring some wetlands back in, get rid of that little stigma that goes with them. And so that we can use that for some development. And he's been very helpful with that, very helpful. It's still quite quiet in the background, but.
I mean, it'd still be great to talk about as we do allocate funds for his services
Yeah.
every
Oh,
year.
absolutely, absolutely.
Okay. Moving on to number 8. Any other necessary business is where we put to set the tax rate.
Maybe you could-
well,
Brian, did you get a copy?
I just did, yeah.
Like, everyone's got a copy now, look. I made plenty of them. Don't worry. And there you go. So basically, we finally got our education rates last week, which are on the right-hand side in 2024. The residential education rate is 1.5162, an increase of 0.1313 over last year. The non-residential rate is 1.7612, and it's 0.2077 over last year's rate. So increase in the residential rate is 9.48%, non-residential rate is 13.37%. On our general and highway budgets, the general fund was a .0410 increase, the highway was a .0891 increase. And based over last year's numbers, the municipal rate increase was 18%.
What's,
Go
go ahead.
So the increase was 20, almost 21 cents on the tax rate.
Oh, no, you gotta add all those together. That
Yeah.
last column. I didn't put a total, I just did the total and came up with the difference over last year. So I guess-
Municipal rate increase, so it's an 18% increase in the tax bill essentially? Is that what's the?
It's an 18% increase over last year's budget to this year's budget. The increase in the tax bill is going from 2.0923, 2.09.
Yeah, from 1.878. It's resident. Non-residents went up even more.
Minus 1.87.
Non-residents is almost 30 cents,
So
29
The
cents.
residential rate over last year went up 0.2205%. Last year it was 1.8718, the tax rate, and this year it's 2.0923 for residential.
All right, so we subtract the 2024 from the 2023 and we divide it by the 2023 tax rate, right?
Exactly.
And what's that come out as a percentage? So for the residential, 2.0923 minus 1.8718 divided by 1.8718 equals 11.1178, or basically 12%.
Yeah,
That,
did
that
you-
sound right?
Yes.
I took the 2.923, and I subtracted the 1.8718, and I divided by 1.8718, which was last year's number, to get 0.1178, which is 11.78%. And I'd have to do those again just to make sure, but that's the way I calculate percentage.
What was it, Joel?
0.1178 or 11.78%.
Here under 12.
Did we lose grand list value this year?
No increase.
A normal increase or
Well, we
less?
had some lot higher budgets than we had last year.
Yeah, but I mean, from a grand list value, was the growth consistent with the past or was it less than the past?
Yeah,
The growth in the grand list.
Well, the gross. Oh, no, I have to get last year's number. For that. I'll get last year's.
While you're grabbing that, I want to figure out the non-residential increase in all fairness there.
According to this paper, it's 18% municipal rate increase.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
And it's 12 up here. With the
Yeah,
change.
we got a
increase.
lot of numbers here, and
Yeah, quite a few. And then I don't think she's got the right highway rate because the change is, it looks like it's 8 cents over here, but it's only 4 cents, 5 cents.
The non-resident was 14.55.
that's the increase, 14.55.
Correct.
And 12% for resident?
11.78, yes. That's using the bottom line numbers of the tax rate is shown here. And I think that's the way
So the numbers that we had at 948 and 1337 are not accurate?
I gotta see what Kathy does for that.
Yeah,
Cause it's, right now it's saying 2.0923
Yeah,
and 2.3373.
yeah.
And then I'm looking at what the old numbers, unless there's something different she uses as the difference.
You're using the difference between last year and this year. On the overall rate.
Yeah, so I divide by last year's number.
Yeah.
And that's where I get my 11.48.
Which you should do.
Yeah, that sounds like be coming in that ballpark, 10 to 15%.
For some reason, though, we're off 2% on the oh no, that's just the residential ed. And
Yeah.
non-residential ed, that's not the total difference.
Right.
So that might be what's confusing us. Yes, okay, let me check that one then, so that's the 1 point.
Yeah. Well, is this, municipal rate increase 18%, that has to do with the increase from the ed and municipal? Is
No,
that a combination?
I think the municipal, like the general fund and the highway fund, those went up quite a bit.
Yeah, they did,
Yeah.
it's 4 cents and 8 cents, so it's 12 cents right there.
162 minus 1.3849 equals that, times by.
These numbers don't add up right here. If you add that, that's 0.57.
Yeah, so that's what that
48.
is. That's what the 9.4 is. That's just the ed difference, residential.
6 cents. And then if you go across here, you're looking at.
Yeah, so the 11.48 is the total
Those numbers
difference. And
That's just
add
in
up to
the
what it should be
educational.
here.
just the educational difference.
Total
That's
increase.
gone by to
Well,
add
maybe
that
that's
number
a
because
combination.
that's significant.
Okay, it's
Yeah.
9%. Oh, yeah, alright, never mind, I gotta figure it out. Yep, I understand now. If you just add them together. Kept adding it, has
This
to
year,
go down,
I'll
okay.
do this year's again. So this is last year's, no, you do need two of these. This is 2024, 2023, the grand list differences are right from last one year to the other. Because this is what I actually use to calculate the rate, and then I condense it down into the sheet that you,
Whoops, whoop,
oops, that you get.
slow down,
There
slow
you
down, slow down.
So the grand list changes up in the left-hand corner.
Yep.
2024, that's the new grand list for this year, the total grand list. the
Which sheet are
town
you using,
grand list,
Kathy?
the-
Which one are you using?
So this year
The
is,
two that I just gave you.
Oh, okay, all right. Wanna get on
it's
right
7.3, what was it last year?
It's on the 2023. I gave
It's
you one
behind
page
you.
first.
7184.8.
Oh, yeah. 174.88.
And the town portion of that is the second column, and then
Yeah.
the village is the third column down. So it gives you the different increases.
Well, actually, the town grand list dropped.
No, it went up.
No, it went up.
Oh, okay, yeah, it went up, yeah, look at,
So,
Yeah.
that's not 7 million.
No, it's 718. You have to add 2 zeros to that.
That,
number.
right, because
Right.
yeah, there's no way, it's gonna be
Right.
higher, yes,
Right, but
okay.
for calculation purposes, we have to take the 2 zeros off.
Right, okay.
So
I just wasn't sure whether it was
718 million.
two,
Yes.
If we get a bunch of people together and buy the town, if that's.
oh, I figured it was larger, I didn't know if it was 2 zeros or 3 zeros, but back to the, thing you want us to sign, Kathy.
Yeah.
So I see, and now I understand, so residential ED is 9.48, but the overall change in our taxes, what I figured out is 11.48.
11.48.
So that is, okay, so the state has got 9.5% of the 11, and we went up 2% essentially, and the state difference because of ed is 9.5%.
Yeah, we went up 200 basis points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then for the non-residential, the educational was 13.37 and the overall was 14.55.
So was your number 11.1178 or 11 point something else?
It was 11.78.
11
Yeah,
points,
11.78.
11.78.
Yeah.
That's the total residential.
Increase is what I see based on that.
And it's gonna be, non-residential is gonna be quite a bit more, another almost 29 cents.
14.55 is the number I came up with.
Yeah,
say on an average, Kathy, of a
That went
home,
up, the tax rate for non-residential went up 21 cents for education. Wow. Will end up being less than what they were saying it was gonna be. They were talking 14, well, 20 to start with.
Well, in our
they-
area.
Where you are, right?
They started out different, well, first the budget was different.
Right.
Calculation, so they went around quite a bit.
And it varied by actual school district, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
On the
even though they were
CLA.
touting these numbers,
Well,
statewide,
CLA is part of it, because the CLA, actually, the good news, that's 0.78, so. Oh, it's on this sheet. It's on this one, 0.7898 is the common level.
Yeah, it dropped
Which is
considerably from 23, and that probably makes up all the difference in
Yeah, because
of the
when
tax rate.
you get your
But-
tax bill, you're gonna see how they calculate the tax rate, because that common level appraisal does play into the calculation, so that's been added to the tax bill this year. So when
Yeah.
you get it, you're gonna see exactly what the rate was, and the common level appraisal addition came up with the.
what would that do to that 11 point, let me get back, the 11.78% increase in the residential taxes? Once you adjust it for the CLA, would that 11.78 go up?
No, it's included in that, the residential rate, 1.5162.
the education.
The education
rate has that
right,
already
has-
taken into
has
account.
Already taken into consideration,
The CLA?
right.
And we
So-
don't set that, the state
The
sets that.
state does, that's that.
Could you just check my numbers, just because we're on camera here, I
Well, I
wanna
wanna
make
make sure
sure.
we're doing the same thing, because
I took-
I was doing the differences in the years.
Correct, so I took the 2.0923, which
Yeah.
is the total tax
Yeah.
rate, right, that I will get as a resident.
I know, two of us did this today, and came up with the same numbers, that's why.
And then I'm subtracting the 1.8718,
Right,
and then I'm dividing that by 1.8718, and that's where I get
Right.
11.78.
Residential,
Correct.
overall tax rate.
Overall
yeah,
tax increase,
11.78.
yes.
Now, you just said 11.178, I just heard before 11.78,
11.78.
11.78, not 178, okay.
I think mine
Yeah,
lasts like 6 digits.
0.1178, but then when you move that decimal to, it's
Okay, so
11.7.
I'll put that, I'm gonna correct this and then print a new one,
Okay,
Well, you would correct what?
the 11.78.
No, because your number there, 9.48, I think's right. That's residential, just the education.
She's talking about the municipal rate increase.
yeah, that's what concerns me, cause it says 18%, I said, we need to go up no 18% this year, oh, yeah.
What is that number? Because I don't even
It's at
understand.
11,
Because, well, we got residential and we got non-residential.
What I did with
Yeah.
that rate was I took last year, the amount of money we raised by taxes, and minused it from what we're raising this year, and divided by last year, and that's the overall increase in money that we're raising by taxes.
yeah, but
It's
that,
not the rate.
if you,
It's
you,
not
yeah,
the
if you
change,
went by
not
the
the
rate,
change
it
in
It's
the
would,
not
tax
changing
rate.
yeah, it would,
No.
so that's a little confusing.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, because you're looking at the rate.
Yeah, I
and
just
that-
think
They
We
add
probably
up,
should take
They
that,
add
take
up.
that right off.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I can understand.
You didn't get an 18% raise, Abby, sorry.
Yeah,
so if we take that off, and I don't even know if we need to add the 11.78 and the 14.5 as the overall, I just wanted to know
Well, I
and have
think
that
it's a
discussion.
good reference, though.
yeah.
I mean, when we say to people we're setting the tax rate, we need to tell them what the real increase is gonna be.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good point of reference, and
Yeah,
then my next question, of course, would be like the same, everybody here wants to know, for somebody with a $300,000 home,
So we figured out was 550 on 250,
Yeah,
right?
so,
550 total.
you wanna know the
150
increase or
on
what their
every
taxes are gonna be, cause I'd have to look up someone's bill from last year and do the new
well,
rate this year.
I think we ought to have those numbers available, if,
Well, it's not, I can just figure it, if you take last rate, are you want residential or non-residential?
well, most of it's residential, I guess. Let's start with that.
Times. 878.
So $250,000 home is $550
Increase.
Yeah.
increase.
That's $50 a month.
Now, the increase for non-residential, the percentage, it's 11.7, you said?
No,
For
7, 8.
non-residential, it's 14.55 increase.
14.55.
Now, how much of this would be affected by, of that $550, how much of that would be lowered by the prebate or the rebate we get for the ed tax?
Non-residential, you don't get it.
That's strictly out of the picture.
Non-resident.
Okay, so
You only get it on your
It's
primary.
different,
Right.
everybody's different.
I realize that.
But you're
But
not-
these are gonna be impacted
Yeah.
in some manner, so the 550 could be a lower number.
It could be.
Yes,
yeah.
for those who
Right.
get,
Exactly,
Yes.
that's what I was
Yeah,
wondering.
could be lower depending on when they file their HS 1 and 22 and the HI 144.
And does this represent what we got, the bill we got from the schools?
What bill?
Well, we get a bill for education from the schools, the towns have to.
We don't get that bill until the amount that they're calculating that we're going to give them at the end of the,
oh, the money collected and then we pass on to them.
So that 1.5162 represents what? It says ed rate residential, is that what we're paying
so
the school?
when we collect all the taxes from every taxpayer who's made taxes with residential and non-residential, it's gonna be $11,290. $11,290, $691.10. The residential, non-homestead will pay $4,646,553, and the residential will pay $6,644, well, $6,644,114.10.
That's the checks we write to the schools,
And be one check.
one check,
Just
but
one
it-
check.
one goes to Mrs. Corey.
No,
No,
one
they all
goes to the
go-
school
Just
district.
one
We only
check?
have one district now. All of the
Oh, I
schools
forgot
are in
about
one
that
district.
luxury we have,
Yeah.
yes.
That's right, so that's just Swanton's contribution and
Right.
Highgate and Franklin do their
To
piece.
the
Yeah.
overall budget.
And that's includes, but it includes Mrs. Corey and the
Mhm.
Yeah,
schools.
central school, elementary school.
Yeah, okay.
So you want this signed tonight? Or approved and signed, so as, I'm just checking with board members, we're gonna remove the municipal rate increase, cause we
Yeah.
think that's confusing.
Yes.
Do we need to just put in there the overall 11.78 and 14.55? Just put that down below where it says resident
Yeah.
ED and
Yep.
non-resident?
Yep, I think.
So if you could make those
Yep.
couple of changes, then we
Yeah,
can
let's put it what
approve
it
it.
is.
I
Yep,
know
yep.
that.
That'll
So,
be on record as, that's what the overall,
so when I get stopped, after this hits the news,
you won't get your walk in.
it'll take me all day. I'm gonna have to say to somebody, your taxes on a $300,000 home, or 250,
250, it's
Okay.
which is,
550.
you can't buy much for 250, but anyway,
Is that what
it's
you
gonna be
buy?
$550, or $50 a month, but it's gonna be lessened by whatever the state gives you for the, we call it prebate?
Yeah, yeah,
If you're
yeah,
eligible.
whatever.
You're eligible.
Income sensitivity.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you. All right.
But you know, the reality of this whole thing is, what's gonna happen is we're gonna have to get reappraised. We're gonna raise our property values up to roughly 100%. Tax rate's gonna go down, but your tax bill's not gonna go down. It's gonna go up because the budget goes up.
Yeah, if it goes down, it'll be just a short period of time.
Yeah,
And then-
and maybe an outlier might, but.
and then it's gonna depend too on how long it's been since you purchased your property.
Yeah,
Because if you're sitting there with an older number, that's gonna come up. Yeah, it's,
no, because you jump the grand list up,
Doubled it.
yeah. I
When-
mean, it was lower the tax rate right now,
When we've been
but the
hearing,
budgets are still the same.
we've been
yeah, you
hearing
don't get
this,
the same, yeah.
we've been hearing the school tax though is gonna go up 14.38%. Is that on top of this?
No,
Oh,
it didn't go up as high as predicted
In our community at
in our
least.
community.
It
right.
went up 9.48.
Right,
each town is.
so we didn't
School
hit,
district is
we didn't hit the 14% mark.
Right.
But it's still up.
Yeah, nine point something.
Yeah.
It's unsustainable at 9.48 a year. Okay, none of the tax rate part changed. We were gonna have you add in overall. 11.78 and 14.55.
Oh, overall instead of,
Residential overall,
change it to overall.
Yeah.
Overall.
oh no, okay, you've got that without the school in there, okay. No, that says, yeah, see, the residential change you had, I think, was correct. I didn't even do that number. You had 9.48. And you had 13.37. Overall,
So you wanna add this for this and then add another one that says
residential
overall.
overall and non-residential overall, which is, the change is gonna be.
11.78, 14.55.
Yeah, and then, yes, and yes.
And leave that as it is.
Leave that as is.
The more we put, the better, yeah.
Yeah, dude. And then it'll be on record and signed
Yep.
and we're done.
You know, the other thing, while we're waiting for Kathy, the non-residential rate is high, and I know we kind of flip it off, saying, oh, the people in business and the second homeowners, but you know what? Second homeowners are really a golden goose to us.
Yeah.
They don't use our school services, they don't use our fire, our police, and we charge them a lot of money. So we always gotta be, to me, super considerate of that. And then the people that have commercial properties, they're not living on easy street. You know, they're having a tough go of it. And so we say it's only 13.37, but if your bottom line is thin, that's a big number.
That's a big number,
That's
and
a
then
big
you,
number.
yeah,
Yeah,
and then you say, okay, so basically they're paying what, 30% more or something, and we're paying, and I'm already thinking my taxes are high, and I agree with
Well,
you,
someone
Steve.
has a commercial
That's-
property at 1.5 million, how much of an increase is that?
What is it, 20, what was .29 their increase?
No more.
.29 for non-residents?
Yeah,
And how much did you say it was?
no, right, the other one's 2.3373, that's non-residential.
How much of a property did you say?
1.5.
1.5 million.
They're paying $35,000 in taxes.
Yeah, what?
$35,000 in taxes.
More or total?
Total. So you go.
It's $3,000 a month, you know?
So you're looking at a 13 point, what was
Well,
it?
So
it's-
you're looking at a $4,350 increase.
How much?
$4,350. And then if you look at the state's new property transfer taxes, went for second homes, went from 1.5% to 3.625.
$500,000
To
home,
sell your second
they
home.
went up $14,000. Wow. And they just think it's a big joke.
No.
If they can afford to
There's
buy it,
money.
they should afford to pay the taxes. You know what it's gonna do? It's gonna drive the price of property back down
Do you
again.
mind putting percent?
No, we don't have to get
Just
rid
to
of
match
it.
the other. Yeah.
We're back at our level.
Oh, you know, you're right.
I talked to a lot of people about, you know, they always talked about home ownership. So you
Yeah.
pay off your home, you're supposed to be real happy, and then you still put this huge amount every month away so you can pay your bill
Yeah.
in October, you know, and it's a significant number. And then you go
Yeah.
to other places and you talk to the real estate taxes, a lot of them are.
I was talking to some financial institutions about,
Carolina, them places, it's nothing.
Yeah,
I've been talking to the financial groups about escrow. And some of them send out the new escrow agreements in October or whatever. And so you're gonna get a new bill. Your bank or your lender is gonna send you a new bill now. This is how much you have to add to escrow every month.
yeah.
It's, you know, we just keep pounding them and pounding them.
Well, and anybody that has their taxes in escrow, if it's a lot of an increase, it'd be wise to have their bank do an escrow analysis and start paying more now, rather than next year when you have to play catch up and
Yep, and now you're gonna start,
they hit you twice.
yep,
All right, Kathy added the overall, residential overall, non-residential overall, 11.78 and 14.55 respectively, which a couple of us has checked. That doesn't change the actual tax rate, which is what we're really setting, but it does show on a public document what the changes are.
Yep.
I will entertain a
Okay.
motion to approve the 2024 tax rate.
All right,
And then I'll make a copy for.
I'll make that
reference.
motion to approve that rate at the residential rate that's listed on this form of 2.0923 and the non-residential rate of 2.3373.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. We can go ahead and sign that, right? Yeah.
And then I'll give everybody a copy, a signed copy.
You getting held
While we're
tomorrow.
signing that, correspondence, Brian, anything?
No.
Public comment?
Margaret.
I believe Margaret's here for public comment.
Okay,
Can you hear me?
we can.
Okay, I've been having technical issues, thank you.
Well, we hear you loud and clear, Margaret.
Awesome, great. My name is Margaret Briggs. I want to thank you all for allowing me to speak this evening. I'm the current homeowner at 231 Lakewood Drive in Swanton. And there is currently a road sign located on our looping driveway, which is also part of a right-of-way. And I'm requesting to change the current road sign name from Queen's Court to a more, to a name more in harmony with the natural environment and my own values. And that's about it. I would love to have that opportunity, and I appreciate your consideration and appreciate having a voice about our land. Thank you.
Okay, Margaret, I think we determined that we would take this under just public comment at this time. And we will do a little bit of research and come back to the board with what your request is and what we can and can't do as a board.
So what is your request? You want to change the name, Margaret?
Yes, please.
And right now it's known as Queen's Court,
Correct.
and you want it to be known as what?
I think I would wait until you decide either way, and then I've been, what I was imagining, what I was thinking of was, something that would refer to the environment, perhaps something, a species that might be natural to our area, something of that nature, like Bobolink Lane, something like that.
Okay, and just, is this on a private road or a public road?
I believe it's considered private. It's a right-of-way that goes through our land.
Yeah, it's a private road.
Okay,
Where's 231 way down?
No, past the store.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just past the store.
okay. This is public comment, so we have your request and we will do some research and we will get back to the board on this, Margaret, and then back to you.
Thank you kindly.
All right, have a great evening. Any
You too.
other,
Thank you.
any other public comment? Upcoming events? Nicole?
Tuesday, August 6th, 2024 is National Night Out here in the Village Green from 5 to 8 p.m. Wednesday, August 7th, 2024, the Planning Commission will meet in the town offices at 6:30 p.m. Saturday, August 10th, 2024 is Cornfest at Swanton Recreation from 3 to 7 p.m. Tuesday, August 13th, 2024 is the Vermont primary elections. The Village Complex, polls open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. The town clerk's office will be closed that day. Wednesday, August 14th, 2024, the Planning Commission will meet again here at the town offices. Tuesday, August 20th, 2024 will be a regular select board meeting here at 6 p.m. Thursday, August 29th, 2024 will be a DRB meeting here at the town offices at 6 p.m.
Thank you. Executive session,
Don't have anything.
okay.
On the primary, is it Republican and Democrat primary?
And progressive, yeah. It's the
Yeah.
state
Oh, I didn't know that.
State primary.
State, oh, okay. All right. Thank you.
Motion to adjourn?
I'll move.
Second?
Motion been made, seconded, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.